Right. Yeah, I did as you've probably seen this morning, about the start with the chalk, with the pastel pencil, and I thought I'd better get back to the to charcoal. It's strange, you know. It's like I can do anything that I want. I can paint and draw and use any medium that I want. But the charcoal keeps drawing me back, you know. And I think I must paint. I'm going to paint something, and you know, just because that's what I want to do. But I think the hassle of painting. That's what I see all these people with these amazing studios and the you know their you know, limited materials. Sorry about that. And I think I'm envious. Some people have amazing studios and lots of space to, you know, to paint in, let alone store painting their paintings. But I don't. I think many of them just work on smaller numbers. I mean, I you know, the number of oil pastels that's in there already over the last few weeks. It's just, you know, it's just the way to store all these things. You know what I mean? You can see there's loads, and there must be nearly 30 in there. In that one, there's another pile of them as well here. But so that's the thing. You know, I'm just churning these out, I suppose, in a way. It's a consequence of enjoying doing it. That's the thing. If you do like doing it, you can't stop doing it. It's as simple as that. So I'm just going to draw something. I think I'm just going to draw this. I don't really. I've sort of talked about the creativity thing, you know, but mainly because they just annoy me. That sort of thing. Just all the assumptions, you know, and everything seems to, I don't know, just come to pass, if you know what I mean. Talking about the game shows that are currently, there's 2 of them now, and you know, they're the ones that we know about. There's plenty of other competitions that's going on, but I hate them. I hate the competition thing. I just think that, you know, I mean, there's one of them that's called a paint off, and I think that's just like, you know, what's next? Full contact painting, sharp brushes, and you know, you need knee pads and headgear, and you know, pitting artist against artist. And it just, I think one of them actually said that. It just like that's just demeaning to me, to artists. Like, anyway, so yeah, I just want to sort of do it. I think the thing is that I just want people to enjoy doing it. You know, I'm not sure that it's all about making work that people enjoy. I'm not sure about that. I think it's purely selfish. I just want to enjoy doing it, whether or not somebody likes it or whether or not I, you know, produce something that they might want to buy, or I don't care. You know, it's like, it's not for their benefit that I do this. It's for nobody's benefit but mine. But yeah, it's I kind of think I was being in a way a full circle with this, to a point where, you know, I was, and I still do. I mean, my thing is to share in order that other people can then experience what I experienced. That's the fundamental thing. And that's how I started with it. But I didn't start like that at all. I was just going to do it. You know, I wasn't going to do it for anybody but me. I think it was just the fact that I was sharing it that people asked me why and how, and then that's when it came to, you know, to the point where I thought, well, I might as well share this with people, let them experience the joy, because that was ultimately the thing that started all of this. After my cancer, I wanted to live a more joyful life and develop the joy principle, and I didn't get much take up on it. It was quite concerning that people's need to be happy was greater than being happy. It's like everyone's on a journey to happiness, searching for happiness. You don't have to look very far for happiness, but with all the gurus and the religions that promote supposedly happiness, there's so many unhappy people in the world. You think, well, hang on a minute, what's going on here? I think it's one of those things where if you experience a life changing event, where you could have died, you tend to have a different outlook on life anyway. It's like you come back from a place that might have kept you, but didn't, and you just want to enjoy every minute. I was thinking this morning about I was thinking about I'm 60, I'm 68, right? I ain't got a lot of time left, I haven't done anything yet. I've messed about for 25 years with computers, completely wasting my time, working for clowns that didn't want to pay me and made me ill, because that's what caused the cancer. It was the stress levels. But as I say, I came back wanting to just have a joyful life, which is where this comes from. This is why this became a big part of what I do. And so charcoal is such a joy to work with. I saw somebody this morning talking about ways to make marks with charcoal. Forget all that, because that's just complications you don't need. The fact that charcoal makes marks in a particular way, and it'll do it regardless of whether you're trying to make it do it. That's all you need to know. It's all, and embrace that, because that's one of the things that you got to, with charcoal, you've got to sort of give into it. You've got to give into the charcoal. It's not a case of you can actually, I've seen people do it. You make the sort of photographic, highly realistic things with charcoal. It's possible to do all that because of the blendability, I suppose, of charcoal. And people spend a long time creating photorealistic images with charcoal, but I don't think that's the best thing about charcoal. The best thing about charcoal, I said this the other day as well, is that when the lie detector needle is on there, and every thought wave and every whatever nuance of your answers is captured in the needle doing that. Charcoal is kind of like that. It's a very fine needle, a very fine stylus on that turntable of what we call art. It's responding to every nuance of every twitch, every response that you make. It is responding to your responses. It is, as I said, making these fine marks, and the thing about it is as well, when this guy was on about how to use this, that, and the other, there's only really 3 things you need to consider, which is it's in that little course that I did, which is the attack, the velocity, and pressure. Those are the only things that need to, because those are the things to control. How the actual charcoal responds to those things can vary. It can vary because the charcoal might not be a particular good charcoal. It might respond. I mean, I have that issue with my charcoal, because it can be made, it can, if it's cooked differently, it can be different hardness and softness all in one stick. So it will change sometimes and not always respond in the same way. So I have to apply more pressure or whatever. I mean, that then tells you that, because if you're using charcoal, one of the things you need to be aware of is to be present to what it's doing. You have to think, oh, it's not quite dark enough, or it's dark enough, or whatever. You have to be present to the marks it's making. Otherwise, let me just show you this. Otherwise, you're not getting the best out of charcoal. Sometimes the charcoal will make marks that you were not aware of or intending to do, and you should be able to say whether or not that mark is appropriate, or if it's right for what you're doing, and if it needs adjusting and all the rest of it. This is all part of if you saw that starting a drawing thing I did this morning, it's all part of that evolutionary type of approach to this. So but as I said, because charcoal is like that, because it has this amazing responsive element to it, that's not, with no effort. This is the thing, they can do it with no effort. That's another reason why, the criteria of charcoal for me is that it must make marks with no effort. I can't have charcoal that requires any kind of force in order for it to make a mark. That way, it is more of a delicate stylus than a as I said, a blunt instrument that needs pressure and needs consideration. I've got lots of charcoal lined up to use. I put them in these bamboo clutches because this is the only one I've got. I did have two of these, but I've lost it. So, but these are okay. The problem with these ones, let me just show you what. I think this one's probably okay, but the problem with these is that, right, can you hear that? It's like a squeak. I think it just amplifies on the bamboo. That's all it is. It just, I don't mind it. It's just, sometimes it can be really noisy. It's doing it now, but like I say, it's okay. It's just think it's a little bit irritating, I suppose. I think the other thing about the charcoal is this, the tonal blending, which I'm doing now. Which I don't get that. There is a bit of that with the, the charcoal pencils, the pastel pencils. There's a bit of it. In fact, I think I did do one, a blue one. You probably saw it, where I'd smudge things, but most of it is just linear, random hatching, basically. Whereas with this, it's much more. I can actually create that that blended tone. But yeah, it's a better medium. It's right why people use it as portraits, because it's got that subtlety of tonal manipulation that is, can be easily achieved. I think that those things, that one thing itself, is the reason why people favour using it. Particularly for making realistic photographic portraits, because it does that beautifully. And I noticed when I first started doing these how effective the tones were, how very black and white, that continuous tone, black and white quality, how it had that very easily. And it could be achieved with little or no effort. That. So it depends on the charcoal, obviously. Initially, I had I used the hawthorn wood for making charcoal, but it was more like a graphite. And I used to think of that was a good thing, that it was, I could sharpen it like graphite and it would keep a point, and and the softer charcoals seem to be not suitable because of this not being able to maintain a point or any kind of precision with them. But that, in fact, was the reason why you should use them, because of that, what that does to the way that you draw. But listening to that squeak now, I know exactly what that is. As I say, I get used to it after a while, but it's not just the squeak, because there's a vibration in the wood as well, which is it's kind of an indication of how gently I hold the charcoal or the bamboo clutch, is that I can actually feel the vibrations through the stick. Which is, I think that I was talking about that this morning with the three things you need to do to be able to have the three skills you need to have. The one being the motor skills, the dexterity, and because I've sort of finely tuned my motor skills, because of all the times I've done it, it's become very sensitive, because the sensitivity manifests in the way that I might just gently create a tone somewhere or whatever. So I've needed that sensitivity, but because of that sensitivity, I can feel the vibrations through the stick or the charcoal. As I say, it's not a bad thing. It's not. I don't think it's a problem. It's just that when I wasn't doing it, when it wasn't doing it, and I was just using a normal stick, I don't feel that. I think it just adds another layer of sensitivity, and that's what I'm feeling. It's not. It's not something that is a problem, really. This is a different one. I put this tape on the end of it, thinking that might stop the squeaking. But this you can hear, this is just very hard. And I want that one. I have to resort back to the short stubby one, I think. Yeah, and as I say, charcoal's a great medium for making portraits. It's the reason why I've done so many in charcoal. Not. I mean, I don't mind the other stuff, but charcoal's a great medium. It is. I mean, there's just so many great charcoal artists out there as well. Sort of Oliver Sin and Zin Lim and all that. They're just, and there's others. I can't remember pronounce the names, but obviously Oliver Sin's like a god in charcoal, in the charcoal world. So it's you see him around a lot. If you want to learn how to draw in charcoal, then he's your man, I think. And there's a guy that taught him as well, though I can't remember his name. It's strange that the guy that taught him isn't as famous as the student. That's one of those paradoxes, isn't it? That the student becomes more famous than the master. So, drawing faces. I mean, I kind of set about with there's no it's going to happen in X amount of minutes and all that kind of thing. And there's none of that. I've got so much time to do it in, and any kind of time pressure thing. But invariably, they always seem to happen within 30 minutes, 45 minutes, certainly within an hour. And I think, oh wow, I've got to spend more time on it. I must slow down and spend more time on them. But I don't feel as though I'm rushing to do it. So I mean, it's not as if I could slow down. It's just one of those things. It's as I said this morning, it's probably the nature of my approach. That's what's doing it. It's because of this connection with the the essence, and because that happens so quickly, I mean, both in terms of the drawing and in terms of the doing, because that happens so quickly, it just appears. It appears it appears to be a quick process, without me intending to be, for it to be a quick process. But I don't think that, when I think about that, people might say, "Oh, it's because you've done so many." Yeah, there will be some of that, I think, that results in them appearing quickly. But I think I remember when I first started doing it, how quickly it came together, and that was a revelation. I think one of the things was this, when I first started doing it, was I had to simply connect and respond. It wasn't about, it's going to be as good as this, or it's going to be as good as that, or there was no, I remember there was no outcome other than I could have fun doing it. That was the only motivation. So consequently, and I was going to show you yesterday about one of the early ones that was probably the trigger for everything else. But it was, it was loose lines and things that weren't, let me see if it's in this one. I'm just going to pull one off and hope for it. I've got, as I say, there's 40 of these in it, and that was more than 40 now. So I'm going to try and find all these drawings. I'm going to try and find the one that was, I would say, was the trigger for everything else, and see whether or not it. I'm not going to find it. I can see it. It's not going to find it. I tell you what, because I use hair spray for fixing these. This particular one has a scent of I don't know which one it is, but I've used all kinds of hairsprays. So this one has a scent that is the the perfume of the hairspray, and I think some of them have got a very distinct smell. Sorry for my blacking out the camera, but it's got a very distinct smell. Whether or not this has got no smell. So yeah, oh, that's interesting. When I'm talking about doing somebody said about soft pastels, I did that as a soft pastel early on, say a couple of years ago, that one. But I'm trying to find the one that I would say was because at the time I always said that was the the best. Oh, there you go, that one. So that was for me at the time I did that triggered everything, because I wasn't trying to be realistic. That one there is probably more realistic, but I wasn't trying to be realistic with it. It was just my response, and I thought at the time, without getting into details of drawing things and mouths and things, I thought that's probably the best charcoal. Even now, I think it's one of the best that I've done. But that triggered everything. But that was nothing to do with time. And same with that one. I think that was a demo that I did for somebody, and it was nothing to do with time. It was just a rapid response thing. When they get even, they get more complicated. There's Frankie. But I've got to find a subject for this Halloween again. As you know, every year I draw spooky figures, and whether or not it'll be what it'll be this year, I have no idea. I think it'll be scary people. There, for instance, was me in my element. That's me not drawing. I mean, look at that ear there. Look at the ear on the left. I mean, both ears, just different level, And once I realized that was what it was about for me, everything changed. It was no longer about trying to be realistic. It was not, the photocopying mentality. I didn't want that, because everybody does that. It's just so boring, and I wanted it to be full of life and be more expressive, that kind of thing. And people think of it as a style, I suppose. They think it's a style that I've got, but I'm not aware of a style. I just think that the style is that I like to capture the essence of somebody, and regardless of how I do it. So there's that on the left there, and then there's that one on the right, which is really really complicated in a way, although it's not that complicated. But it's, you know, it's this sort of thing. You know, I just everything, such extremes really of what I do, and you know, it manifests in all kinds of ways. But I never really have like that. For instance, I never really have an outcome in mind. I just like that image, you know, and I connected with that image, and that's what I drew. There's two examples of extremes. You see, that one on the right there is just rapid, and that one on the left is equally rapid but completely different. So, as I said, that's charcoal for me. Those are the things, because you have that complete range of differences in the way that charcoal works. I think that's what attracts me to using it, not the you know, anything specifically, because it can do so many things, and it just depends on the mood I'm in as to what, you know, what happens, or whether or not the subject inspires me in one way or the other. You know, that's kind of underlying everything. You know, whatever the subject tells me to do is basically what I do. So anyway, this is done as far as I want to take it. So I was going to be really detailed. I thought I could get back in charcoal, make it something really detailed, and stop when you feel as though you've caught the essence, and that's the rule, and that's what I feel about this. There might be a few things I want to tweak. I love all this. When this happens, this is what I like about charcoal, is that they're not drawing stuff, you know, the stuff that isn't me trying to draw every hair, I like all that. Some people wouldn't like that. Some people want it to be detailed and exact and precise and all the rest of it. But that's not me. I don't need that. I don't need that to be able to capture the essence. It doesn't make, you know, detail is not going to make a difference to whether I've caught the essence or not. Anyway, right, I'll love you and leave you, and I'll catch you in the next one.